All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are reviewing The Thing from 1982. A research team in Antarctica is hunted by a shape-shifting alien that assumes the appearance of its victims. This movie has an 85% critic score and a 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said, it's the 1982 horror movie. This is Aiden's pick to kick off our horror movie themed month for October.
Happy Halloween.
My pick's next week, so to give you a little teaser there. But yeah, Aiden, The Thing, you hadn't seen this, but you had heard so many things about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been on my list, like I said, for most of these movies that we've been reviewing for as long as I can remember. And you know me, I'm not a fan of scary movies, so, I mean, watching this, I guess it's not...
It's a 1982 horror film, so it's not creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it's still scary. Like, modern horror films, 100% I'm not watching that shit. But, like, I can watch the old stuff, I guess I could say. But no, I mean, it's a cult classic film. I mean, it stands up. It came out in, 82? And it's still, like, watching it on my TV yesterday, you wouldn't even thought that it came out in 82. Besides seeing Kurt Russell young as shit. And, but I mean, I watched the YouTube video on like John Carpenter, like kind of breaking down like, you know, all of his iconic films and stuff like that. And I mean, dude, like even some of the shots that we see like nowadays came from John Carpenter, you know, whoever his cinematographer was and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fucking badass. And I'm a sucker for like prosthetics too. So, you know, like actual like gore and actual blood and guts and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm shocked how good that stuff looked for a movie that's, I mean, over 40 years old.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Brian, what do you think of this movie? You've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, so, again, I kept hyping it up. I went a while in my life without watching it, not as long as you guys, because Jack, who used to be my roommate, I've talked about him numerous times on here, Jack fucking loves this movie. Like, this is hands down one of his favorite movies. And there's been numerous times where I've like just caught bits and pieces of it because of him. And I never really sat down to watch it. Like we had watched the 2011 reboot, fucking prequel, whatever the hell it was called, our freshman year of college together. And then we watched the first one, but I don't remember shit about it, like at all. And so last year we were watching it, but it was like fucking 1 a.m. I had to be up for work. And I was like, all right, dude, like we're restarting this bitch tomorrow. And I remember I came home and we instantly sat down and just watched it, dude. And I remember not moving. And I was like, how the hell have I never seen this movie? Like, it is so fucking good. And like you guys said, it holds up for it being 1982. Like, it still holds up. Like, John Carpenter is that fucking guy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's the reboot about, Brian? Is it like the same story? Or
yeah, well, the reboot is not even technically a reboot. It's like they wanted to do like a prequel. It takes place before that group, and if I remember correctly, I think it's them blowing the shit up. Like what we find out later, like I think it was them like discovering that there's something in the ice.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
No, the remake is the prequel, and then there's a book that kind of goes in the reboot starts off with the old one, the original, and then there's a book after, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's a book that's out, and I was listening to it a little bit at work today, but it takes place after this movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like, it just extends the story a little bit, because, I mean, like, the stuff I was watching today, I mean, I guess a bunch of people were asking for, like, a sequel to this once it came out in 82. Because, I mean, it's a great concept for a movie. And, I mean, you can go... It could be a franchise, just like Alien versus Predator, you know? It could be, similar to any of that.
But to an extent, I'm glad that it didn't, you know? Because, like, it works out really well. Like, so when you bring up this movie, even without me, like, fully seeing the movie until last year, like, everybody knows that iconic image like that they use for the poster of the guy standing there in like the polar gear and there's just the white light shooting out from his face, essentially is what it looks like. Everybody knows that, and to think like that's one fucking movie, and again they tried to redo it, but yeah, sure, for a fan service I'm sure people liked it, but if I remember correctly it wasn't that fucking good. But I'm glad that John Carpenter stuck to one, but because now you could see like what happened with the fucking Halloween series. Like that just kept going and going. It didn't need to. And this one was like a one and done staple for one of, like, in my opinion, one of the best horror movies. Like, obviously, like Aiden said, modern horror now is so fucking creepy, but the way that this one was made at the time, like, it was super ahead of its time. Like, I texted my mom like 2 days ago after I had rewatched it because we were just catching up, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about John Carpenter's The Thing?" And she's like, "Oh, like the older one?" I was like, "Yeah, 1982." She goes, "At the time, it was really scary, but like if you watch it now, it's like it isn't that bad." And I go, "But like, is it a good movie?" And she agreed that like it's really good. And then she's like, "I think they have it on Peacock." And I was like, "No, no, no, don't watch that. I go, that's the 2011 one. You don't want to watch that. You're good."
No, I mean, I was really shocked. I mean, even the story alone was great. Like, you know, like it's not really a whodunit. It's more of, I mean, I'm gonna let Josh bring up the reference. Yeah, but I mean, but it's like you sit there and you watch it, like you wouldn't even know it's a horror until you get the blood and guts. But I mean, just overall, like you're invested, like from start to finish.
Yeah, because
that's a good thing about it.
And I forgot that it had started. Like, it looks like one of the GTA UFOs that they have, where it's like the literal, like what everyone thinks stereotypical UFO, where it's just the round thing in the sky, and then it just zips in. And I forgot about that. And then the opening, I remember that is the dog running in, and they're shooting at it, and you don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
But now, like rewatching, you're like, dude, I wish they would just clip this fucking dog right now.
Yeah, I know. But it's crazy, I mean, because they don't even, like, even at the end, I mean, it's an open ending, which we'll get to, but, like, they don't even, like, how did that guy know that, you know, the dog was the thing?
Because
how did he know on all of it?
Because of what happened when they went back and checked out the base.
Oh,
like,
wait.
That base. So, like, are you talking about the guys at the beginning shooting at the dog?
Yeah, but
they were the last survivors. They were the last survivors. From
Norwegians.
Yeah,
I wonder if they already had a set amount of dogs, and then this one was running from their camp into this new camp, and they thought it was just one of their dogs. That could be.
No, they knew it was the thing. They knew it was the thing. Like, that's why that motherfucker had the fucking grenade when he blew up the helicopter off Rip. Like, he knew that was the thing. Like, he dead ass knew, and he was yelling at them. But they had...
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying because they chased him for so long. Like, that dog was just out there by itself. All the other ones were locked up. Mm-hmm. So it could have been the thing, and they knew it. And then he went to the camp, and the guy was just like, "Oh, like that's our dog," because that guy wasn't smart. He was an idiot.
Again, I think because they had noticed the dog running at them, they knew that wasn't their dog. They weren't missing one. So that was the thing that made it weird. Was that
just one dog in?
Yeah, just a random dog running at them.
They collect those dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So all right,
yeah, so
that makes sense.
Again, and like that's just such a cool intro because then off rip they're chasing this dog. You don't know what's going on, and then they fucking like they don't know if they're being attacked or what because this guy shows up and he's shooting at it, and then he has the fucking grenade, blows up a helicopter. Like, that shit's insane.
Yeah, and you side almost with the dog. You're like, what the hell did the dog do? Maybe eat some of their food or something. I don't know. You know, and it's getting chased, or maybe it's just getting hunted in general.
Yeah, but even that opening scene, I'm like, all right, why the fuck are they shooting at an innocent dog? I thought the guy was just an asshole. I'm like, all right.
And again, like, it's just good like that. Because again, when you hit the rewatch like I did, and you're like, fuck, I wish you would clip that motherfucker right now.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, the thing I love about watching movies for the first time is, like, not being able to predict them. You know it's a good-ass movie when you try to predict something in your head and it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So you're like, all right, I love this movie. But, I mean, we can just kind of get into more of, like, the scenes where, obviously the thing is a shapeshifter, but it's not even a shapeshifter. It's, like, it's a genetic thing. Or it's like a cell, basically.
It, like,
that's just taking over the body.
It harvests whatever the life form it takes. Like, so they have to eat it, which is fucking crazy when it fucking...
Eat it or get, like, blood or saliva.
Yeah. Well, no, because I think they have to die, and then it takes their form, is the thing.
See, but one thing that I don't like about this movie is that we don't see the transition ever.
Well, that would be a little hard to do. Again, it's 1982, but we did kind of get to see it when what's-his-name was laying on the table, and then he comes out, and his fucking head is, like, extending, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, the first time we see it really in action, I mean, first the dog's, like, roaming around, it's a little suspect, right? But then when he goes and takes the dog in, like, the kennel with the other dogs.
Yeah, that was fucked.
Yeah, did you get that? Bro. Did you understand why the dogs were freaking out?
Yeah, I mean, once they started freaking out, I was like, okay, this dog's up to some shit. Like,
Yeah,
this is not a
because
dog
again,
or
that's
something.
not how a dog acts. Like the fucking thing can mimic whatever. Like a person, like you could mimic and be mute a little bit, but like someone's gonna say
Yeah.
something's up. But like a dog, the humans have no idea. But when they put the dog in the kennel and the other dogs quickly realize, like, holy shit, this is not a dog. Like it's not doing what dogs do, and they picked up on
Fuck.
Yeah.
that, freaked the fuck out. That was crazy as hell. And what did
Yeah,
you
I think
think of that when it just
the
started
worst
fucking
scene,
like spewing
yeah,
out?
no, that was fucking nuts because that's the first time we see the thing,
Mhm.
and I mean, you just go. I mean, technically, you see it before with the first camp. You see the
Uh-huh.
guys like bodies all mingled and
Yeah, that
deformed.
was
Yeah,
freaky,
and
dude.
again,
Yeah,
imagine
you're like,
pulling up on
"Jeez."
that. Like you're in the middle,
Yeah,
you're in the middle of Antarctica, and again, they think these guys are going stir crazy, but it's only been 8. What did they say? 8 weeks at this point. So like, it's not enough time for people to go crazy. And then the one guy was like, "Well, like I wanted to go crazy after like my 3rd day," and it's like, yeah, but you don't go that fucking crazy. Like
yeah.
a whole group doesn't go that crazy,
But no,
dude.
the dog was fucked because I mean, you think it's just gonna take a form of a dog, and it does the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just got those little things that are whipping around and
Uh-huh.
shit. Like, God, it's like you see him spit the shit at the other dog. It's like, fuck, man.
Dude, yeah, like
Just
it looks
keeps
like it's
going.
peeing or something,
Yeah,
essentially.
and
Dude,
then that dog just starts
Yeah, and
like
I was
getting
wondering, like, how
eaten
did they
alive.
get that shot? Like, did they actually have to, like, hose down a dog like that? Like, I don't know. I was thinking that.
Probably.
Like, when I was watching the scene, I was like, how did they shoot this? That's
Yeah,
what
they
I
would
was
have had
wondering.
to.
Which is cool.
dude,
Um,
it was just I think oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. My fault.
oh, about the dogs?
Yeah, there was just something stupid. I saw it on Twitter like a week ago. There's just someone being a dumbass, and they're like, not a lot of people know this, but like this dog is like the best actor in all of the movie. Like he went in there and really did his part, and it's like they just got a dog to walk around. That's all it was.
Yeah, dude. And when the one dog was tied up and he gets shot, I was like, ah, damn.
Mm-hmm.
By Kurt Russell's character. What did you think of his character, Brian? Does he get better on rewatches? Did you like him the first time you
He's
saw it?
that fucking guy. Like I
Yeah.
always fuck with him. And like, well, what's funny too is like they're like, oh, we're only 8 weeks into it. Like you don't go that stir crazy. Like our first intro to him is losing at chess, and then he fucking ruins the fucking chess game like instantly. And it's like, what are you gonna do the rest of the time you're out there, bro? You just fucked that thing up for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cabin fever, right?
Yeah.
Once you're locked in somewhere so long. I feel like this horror movie would be like really cool to watch in the winter during like a snowstorm or something. That'd be sweet. Just like
Yeah.
a setting wise.
You know what? I raise you one that's better for when you're locked in during the snowstorm. That's The Shining.
Yeah, that's another good one.
This one though, again, literally, I was itching to rewatch it. As soon as like we got this fall weather, I wanted to rewatch it. And then you guys brought it up, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
really want
here
to
it
watch
is.
the. I want to watch the remake, like the 2011 one,
Mhm.
because I've heard it's dog shit. But I mean, I don't know. You gotta watch it just for
All right, yeah.
shits and giggles.
Here's the dumbass tweet someone had tweeted. They were like, "Jed the Wolf and John Carpenter's The Thing gives one of the greatest performances put on the screen.
Yeah.
Hits every mark, ignores the camera and crew, and commits to the end. Genius film acting." And then it's literally just like the dog walking around.
No, I saw that tweet too, and it was like, honestly, like, I mean, you see all these movies with like dogs in them, but like that's got to be hard. Like the dog was fucking perfectly fine. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes to like fucking cut and do all that shit.
I was watching it on Amazon or rented it on Amazon.
Same.
And when you click the button, it says like the actors' names and stuff.
Yeah,
Right off the bat, it said Jed.
nice.
I'm like, this dog has a name?
So
Like
wait,
an actor's name?
now that I'm thinking about it, if you watch that John Carpenter interview with GQ or I think it was a Vice video, and I think he said himself that the dog was the best actor in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Kurt Russell.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Kurt Russell did his damn thing, but this dog was killing it.
He brought it.
Dude.
No, that's one thing I want to mention too is that Kurt Russell does a good ass job, and you think he's gonna be like fine the entire way, and then right at that one point where he like loses his shit, like when they open that door and he's sitting there with the fucking TNT or C4 in his hand, it's like, oh god, like he's
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah,
But then
no,
he
but that
somehow
shit was
takes the
cool
reign on
because,
it.
well, that thing was so fucking cool because, again, in that situation, anyone that has a bomb, because you got to imagine the thing wants to survive, and if he lit that and killed them all, like, the thing is, that's not the thing. Like, the thing would never be that fucking smart. Like, in that point, I would be like, that guy's good. Like that guy is
That is
fucking
true.
good. Like I'm all right with that. And
And I mean, he's
Yeah.
holding that damn flare next to it. I was waiting for it to like
Yeah,
accidentally go off, and it
uh-huh.
never does. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it was a little too close for comfort. But
Yeah.
dude, no, from there is where the movie starts picking up. So it happens, they see the thing come out and they torch it. So now they have the scientists fucking start like running all types of tests on it. And I think after that is when we see them fly over to the Norwegian base because they want to know what the hell happened over there, find out everyone's dead, and they're like, what the fuck are we dealing with? And that's when you find out that like there was something in the ice and they fucking took it out. And
They
so
blew it up.
yeah. So they fucking tried to kill it, and that clearly didn't go well. But one of my favorite fucking scenes, dude, is before the doctor goes crazy and starts destroying everything, when he's running the probability, dude, and like how fucked it would be. And I think it said it would be like 12,000 hours or something like that.
27,000 hours.
Yeah, 27,000 hours would be how long it would take if the thing made it onto like land, like America, and it would just fucking take over. And like
It said
that
the world.
alone, yeah, like okay, yeah, the world. So like the world would be fucked, and then he runs the next probability, which is like okay, 27,000 for the world. He goes probability that the thing is among the crew members 75%. Like at that point, he goes crazy. Like he knows they are fucked. They are so fucked that they're not dealing with something like that they can just get rid of. Like someone in the crew now has it and he knows it. And that's when he talks to the guy, the actual dog guy, the dog handler, and he's just like, so you're telling me up until last night, like that dog roamed around? He goes, yeah, like he was just hanging out. And he goes, oh fuck. And he goes, why are you looking at me like that? Because he assumes that he would be the one that would be infected with the thing. Oh shit, dude! Like that whole scene right there. That's where the movie just goes. Like from there, it is go, go, go.
But then who's the other guy? Who was it? Was it Clark or Fuchs? Maybe one of them. And that's when he's sitting at the table and the dog like goes by his foot, and I think it like bites him. But he's like, he's like, put this dog up with the rest of them. And that was when it goes over into the the fucking the pen or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
With that, so I mean, you keep thinking about that the whole time throughout the film. You're like, well, this guy's fucking, like this guy's next. Like, you just keep pointing fingers at everyone.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, because they're all obviously close and friends, and they are part of this crew, and there's like an imposter above them, around them, like involved in their thing.
Are you saying there's a imposter among them?
Yeah, it's like Among Us.
I'll let you have it, man.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, I mean, but then we can kind of get in. We didn't really mention any of the thing transformations besides
the dog.
Yeah, the dog.
Well, because at that point there's not really any, because they start going crazy now, and then that's when the fucking thing they like move it into storage. They call for what's his name, to Kurt Russell to come grab his shit, and they're just gonna put it in there. You're like, well, that's fucking dumb. And the guy goes, someone's gonna win a Nobel Peace Prize with this. It's like there's nothing peaceful
because
about
it's like,
this
why don't
shit.
you burn it?
Yeah, dude, no, you gotta get rid of that shit. Like that's one of those things where you come back and just sound crazy as fuck, but like you get rid of it.
But I think that's before they know that it's like a
well,
mutates,
because they thought that they killed it, and like at that point
so
it had
just,
fucking
it was
slipped
just over.
away. Holy fucking hell!
No, it's sick, and I think my favorite one. I mean, of the thing. I mean, well, then we get to the guy who I said gets bit by the dog. We see him with his fucking hands outside. And, they pour gasoline on him. Just don't even give him a chance. They look at him. They see his big ass hands, light his ass up. So
well, they know because that's when he's taking off running outside, right? And it's like the middle of the night. Like no one has any reason to be out there. And then like that is, I think, supposed to be the iconic shot that is like the movie poster is like him running out there, and like that's like the guy that's wrapped up, and like there's just one among them at that point. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, and it's cool that he has to run away because it takes time for them to transform all the way.
Yeah.
So that was a cool aspect of it.
But my overall favorite one is the heart attack one, because the thing knew that guy had a heart problem, and then you see him. That's when what's his name's freaking out, Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah.
And then they go and he falls, and you think he like hit his head on the shelf or something, and they bring out the refibrillators and they're shocking him.
Dude, that's the hands.
Like,
the hands.
You're like, oh shit, like I mean, like you're not even thinking about like the thing at this point. You're like, oh shit, like they're gonna save this guy's life. The doc comes in. and then the third
I
shot, his fucking chest caves in, and then his stomach turns into a mouth and
Yep.
cuts the Doc's hands off. It's like,
Dude,
holy
I
shit.
knew that shit was coming, and I still audibly let out an ah. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I was like, oh, fuck. Because that's when, and then you just see him rip his arms off. He's walking around like that. And it's like, oh god. And then at that point, you just know everyone's gonna fucking die. Like,
yep,
no
there's
one's
like
safe
no
anymore.
hope at that point. Like, if they thought they contained it and they couldn't, and then like, so when the other guy starts mutating, and
the stoner dude.
yeah, is that the one? No, that's not the stoner dude. It's the other guy I'm thinking about, where like the head falls off. Where the head falls off and it becomes like the spider, and like they just look and they go, "You got to be kidding me!" And they just fucking light that thing up again.
Well, dude, that's like,
I thought it was gonna get away.
an iconic scene too, because I've seen that before, like in clips or whatever, like of the head, spider leg head just walking away, and then they just torch it right there in the hallway. And Kurt Russell's character he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he'll burn this place to the ground.
Yep.
And I think he, like, at that point, that's when you expect, like, he in his mind is like, if I'm not turning, like, everyone's coming with me. Like, this thing's not getting out. And then you go in. I mean, that was another funny ass part, but I think by far the funniest part is the blood test. I don't know if you guys want to get into that yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Hang on. So before Kurt Russell goes crazy, because this is where again it becomes a whodunit, and obviously Kurt Russell is the main fucking character. Like, you know, him and Keith David are making it out.
And I want to mention real quick that place is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Their base.
Uh-huh.
So, like, you like, everyone, like, stay right here, but they're all around. Like, no one's in one spot.
Dude, but so, like, when they go outside and Kurt Russell goes, we got to go check out my tower. And he goes, why? And he goes, because I turned that light off yesterday when I left, and I, like, the only one that was in there. So they go up there, and that's when the things started adapting and getting smarter. And they had, like, Kurt Russell was the one that put together that when they change, that those fucking, like, legs come out, essentially, and, like, it'll rip up their clothes. Because remember, the cook had found the underwear in in the trash, and, like, they were all ripped to shit. And, like, he looked at it, and he was just like, that's, like, something's not right here. And lo and behold, that was the guy that had became the thing. And so he goes to the tower, and that's when, what's his name, cuts the line. They cut the line because he finds Kurt Russell's clothes, like, ripped up. But that's because the thing outsmarted it and started tearing this shit up, so that way everyone would point blame. So now you know that the thing can not only adapt to become a different person, but it's fucking learning. Like, it's smart as shit. Yeah. Like, it knows what the hell it's doing. And so that's crazy. Why, though, that's why when they cut the line, you're like, holy fuck, like, well, Kurt Russell can't be the thing. And it's like, no, he's not. But that's why he broke in and was like, I will fucking blow us all to hell. Like... And he had every right. Because, again, and now he thinks the guy that cut the line, well, that could be the fucking thing, and it wasn't even him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the time.
Yeah, at that time.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I love when Kurt Russell starts losing his shit, because that's how you know, like... Because, I mean, like I said earlier, like, you least expect it. So then you see him, it's like, oh, fuck. And, like, he's supposed to be the leader, like, the main character.
Yep. And then,
as it seems, but I don't think he is the main character. I mean, I guess
the dog is Jed.
Shout out Jed. But no, and then because of the defibrillator scene that we talked about, that happens right before he goes outside and they cut the line on him, is when he realizes that, like, the thing doesn't react well to heat, and, like, them doing that is what fucking made it, like, activate. And then that's when he comes up with, in my opinion, that's a genius fucking plan. Because the doc was like, well, if we took blood samples and sprinkled it in with the blood of, like, the thing that we have, like, it'll take over and we'll be able to know. But, like, he figured out the heat thing, and he was like, all right, cool, let's fucking do this. And instead takes the blood samples from everyone and heats up the fucking thing. And, like, you could tell even the people that knew that they weren't the thing were scared, because they don't know if they're the thing or not. Like, they don't know how it works. Like, because obviously anyone that's made the transformation isn't themselves. Like, they can't be like, hey guys, I feel weird. Like, they don't know what the hell happens when you become it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
But that's where we get into that. And I thought the blood test was kind of stupid at the beginning. Because it's all right. Like,
I love that scene.
That's my favorite scene, I think.
No, it is my favorite scene. But at the beginning, I'm watching, I'm like, all right, like, how is he in control of this shit? And they're not going to do a blood sample on Kurt Russell.
again,
Like everyone's gonna do it.
If the guy willing to blow everyone up, like,
That is true.
I'm trusting him. Like, I'm gonna be like, do my blood first and give me the other fucking flamethrower. Like, I am not sitting here.
But that's like, I don't remember which character it was, but it was the pothead dude. And dude, when they go, there's like 3 guys left. And they're all like, each scene it just cuts, and one of them's holding a flamethrower. The other guys like, they keep teaming up.
Yeah,
their army's like getting bigger of humans, I guess you could say.
Dude, every time they test it, like the noise it'd make too.
Oh yeah, I know. You're waiting for it to pop. And
yeah.
Then, well, I mean, and as a viewer, you're watching, you're like what the fuck happens? Like, because blood, it just sizzles and it pops, and then that's it. But you're waiting for that, like, because then watching it for the first time, I'm like, all right, like, what's gonna happen if it actually is like? How is it going to react? Is it going to fucking jump onto his skin and now he's dead? Or like, it just doesn't make any sense. But then he goes and, each person, it just gets better and better. And then one of the funnier ones was Gary. Gary was on there and he's like, oh, like he was like, happy that he was a human. And then he's like, all right, my question is, you guys gonna keep me fucking locked up? And that shit was hilarious, dude. And then, but no, before that was the pothead, whatever that guy, the guy that's always smoking his scene. And they look at him, and the blood jumps, and you're like, oh shit. And then you look at him, he's just sitting there, and his head just, he just rises up, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then you got the 2 guys, like
they're
the
stuck to
Goonies,
the chair,
man.
like, get the tires.
It's like the Goonies, and they're just sitting there fucking jumping in. And the guy goes and he fucking gets, that's the craziest one in my opinion. And the guy gets huge, bro. His head splits open. It's just like an extra set of like teeth and stuff. Then he goes right at Windows, who Windows was freaking out about. And you think Windows is like easily one of the guys until he's like, safe. And then he just goes and just picks up Windows by the head and just raises him up. And he's just eating him. It's insane.
Yeah, and I like Windows' character too. That sucked to see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. And it was like, God, like you thought the guy was like clean, like after all those scenes of him like freaking out, grabbing the gun, doing all that shit, just for him to get the first one to get eaten by that.
Yeah, and he wanted to burn them from the beginning.
Yeah.
To prevent any kind of spread. And,
oh, yeah.
I don't know. Sucked to see him die, though. Especially
for sure.
in that kind of way.
Yeah, but I mean, that was like by far one of the funniest scenes because they're just sitting there fucking, let me out.
Hey, so like, here's the question though, and we left this out before the blood boiling scene. Is the dog keeper's name? I forget his name right now, but he killed a human. Like he gunned him down. But in that situation, honestly, I'm doing the same. I'm not taking no chances. Again, if I'm Kurt Russell and I know I'm good, like I'm killing that guy with no remorse.
Yeah, but honestly, that guy went out the best out of anyone.
Yeah,
like,
dude, he didn't have to suffer at all.
Yeah, he didn't have to watch that shit. He doesn't have to freeze to death and turn into the thing because it's still out there. I mean,
right?
Like, it's insane. But I think he got out the best.
Yeah, and I think I did a bad job describing it. So, like, the blood idea is the fact that, like, when we bleed, like, the blood falls and that's it. It's not attached to us. The blood is the alien. So them taking out the blood and then burning it, that's making the whole alien's body temperature rise. Versus if you did that to our blood, nothing would fucking happen. It would just smoke, probably smell bad. But like for the alien, that's why it reacted. And then again, dude, when they do it and you just see him shaking, like that scene is so fucking good.
Well, when the blood falls on the ground, it starts like moving towards the body too.
Yep. It really needs to go back to the host.
Yeah. Oh no, and it was like screeching, like making a noise, and it's funny because like every time the thing's there,
yeah, of course,
that was another good ass part when that guy turns into the thing. And, he's going, the flamethrowers like sparking. And that's another good thing too, because I mean, you watch it, you're like, oh, like he's just gonna torch it, but then it's like, oh shit, the thing doesn't work. Flamethrower.
Yeah. No, honestly. And I know it would have been ignorant, but like even from the jump, like when before the head like fell off and became a little spider, like if I'm Kurt Russell, I'm telling everyone to get the fuck out, and I'm lighting that TNT and throwing it in the room. We'll go from there. Like
that's the other problem is there were so
portion.
many of them that were still like, still infected, I guess you could say. Or the one, what was it, the doc, or who's the guy that I was gonna bring up from that's outside? Is it Clark?
Dr. Blair.
But Dr. Blair's out there, so
so Dr. Blair is the one that destroyed all the machines, and they didn't know how to react, and they thought he was just going stir crazy at that point, which again justified. There's an alien among you, and you just ran the probability that 75% chance the thing is among us now. And so they
Yeah.
locked him in a little shed. Holy fuck, dude! When they go out there and they can't find him, and they end up downstairs, and like that's what happened to the helicopter and shit. Like he's building
Yeah.
the spaceship again. You're like,
Dude, that's insane. But then the part even before that, when they check on him and they don't even give him the blood test,
Mhm.
because he's obviously locked out in the outhouse or whatever, and he's going there, he's sitting there eating, and you just see a noose that he tied up, and it's
Yep.
like, oh fuck. And he's like, he doesn't even say anything. He's like, "I just let me out, man." He's like, "I just want to get out of here," and then they don't even
Whatever I
acknowledge
had
it.
earlier
Like,
was
all right.
gone. I feel much better. And you're like, I don't know, man.
It's something the Thing would say.
It's a little suspicious. Yeah, dude, when they went down there, it was sick.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
was
that
cool.
was dope.
Because it's like, what the fuck are we about to see down there?
Yeah, and they're like, well, he's a smart muff or MF.
Yeah.
That shit was good. I like that. I like that part for sure.
Yeah. Brian, do you want to keep walking us through it?
Yeah, so what part are we at now? So after
They saw a spaceship down there.
okay, yeah,
So I mean, it's basically just like the 4 or 5 of them left.
I think there's 4.
Yeah, I mean, you see, they don't know where Dr. Blair is, so I mean, he's out and about, and then there's 3 of them going through room to room, and that's when Kurt Russell goes, "We're gonna raise the temperature in here," and we're
Yeah,
like,
because
"All right,
they
what's he gonna do?
realize-
He's gonna turn the fucking heat on."
yeah, well, they realized that obviously the thing was submerged in ice, so it can survive out there. So when they saw the guy run outside, they're like, "Holy fuck! Like the thing is going to freeze itself again. Like we need to torch this bitch and burn it because it can't survive fire, but cold again, it'll just freeze and it'll wait until the rescue team shows up and they'll just unthaw him, and then the thing is out and about in the world again." So now this is where Kurt Russell basically says, like, "This is it, fellas. Like we're all dying here." Like nobody's going home, and
Oh, yeah.
we have to be the ones that kill it, and that's so
And they'll
badass.
accept it too.
They do, because at this point they're heroes. Again, no one's gonna know what the hell happened, but if they could stop the thing from spreading, like, yeah, I get it at that point. Like, it's not
Mhm.
even a suicide mission. Like, that's just like you're doing your fucking duty right
Yeah,
there.
it needs to be done.
Yeah, and so then that's when they have the genius idea, and that's when they're down below at like the spaceship, right? Is that what they blow up down there? And they're setting it up.
Yeah, they're like setting it all up.
Yeah, so that way
they
the
go.
trail
They
will
were
go.
trying to. They originally went down there to flip the generator, and he's like, "It's gone."
Mhm.
He's like, "All right, we'll turn it on." And, or like, "How do you fix it?" He's like, "It's gone." So I mean, that's the other crazy thing too. Is I mean, there's so much potential in this movie too. Like, it already is good as it is, but like, imagine we saw a transition. Imagine we saw a, like the fucking thing just walking around by itself. Because at one
Yeah.
point you see it big as hell running by someone outside. You're like,
Yeah.
oh
Well,
shit.
but that's the thing that's cool about like older movies, and like, yeah, it would have been cool to see that, but the fact that they can nail all this in an hour 40 and like what happens, you
It's
don't even need to see
legit.
it. Like that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so from there,
There's one
then,
thing that this.
What's
Go
up?
ahead.
No, I was just
So
gonna
that I
keep
was
going
going
with
to
the
say
movie.
this reminded me of The Outsider. Did you guys end up ever watching that on HBO?
Nah, I never ended up watching it.
It's good. It's like a demon that just like shapeshifts and like takes over. Like it just like looks at someone and it just becomes them. So I mean, it's definitely like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's Stephen King, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good ass show.
Nice. But
go
so
ahead,
then
you can
from
finish
there
out.
they're down there and they have this final like suicide pact essentially, and they're gonna get rid of the thing. And Dr. Blair shows up and stealth kills these 2 motherfuckers. He
Yeah.
stealth kills them, and then that leaves you with Kurt Russell and fucking Keith David is out somewhere. He's just out and about somewhere. And
Childs.
they think Childs is the thing, and you find out later that Childs chased after the other guy that was actually the thing, and he's like, I watched him go outside, I had to go after him. And you're
So
like,
that's the
all
one where
right.
he like runs by him and it's big as fuck.
Yeah.
So he goes out there to chase him, and then he ends up torching himself with his own flare because he's like, maybe he gave himself up before the thing could even get to him.
Right. And so all this shit happens, and now like so it's just like super quiet, and then again another great scene because they're just like it's like that narrow fucking like as if it was like where there'd be like a minecart or something, like it looks like that almost. And then you see all the fucking ground moving, and it stops right before the TNT, and you're like, holy shit.
Fast as hell.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a good scene.
I
like that scene a lot
It was a
too.
really good fucking scene. Again, for it being 1982, the cinematography and this look fucking clean. Like, It was shot really like John Carpenter is like give him that man his flowers. Like he's fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, like that scene, like he's looking around, like
Mm-hmm.
around the whole hallway, like I don't know, like it was quiet, and they stuck on it for a couple minutes, like it was just creepy, and then that happened. Like, holy shit!
I love like towards the beginning, like middle of the movie is like kind of right when they bring the first body like into the rooms, and it's just the still shots of like all the stuff going in like each room, like the rec room is like empty, and they got like I think it's when the music's playing. And just the shots like that, like it just shows the hallway and everything's moving around it, but it's just still. And then the rec room, like all that, I love that. I thought that was sick.
Yeah, that was cool. What did you guys think of the way this movie ends?
It's like a cliffhanger. You don't know. Like again, you want to believe that Kurt Russell isn't the Thing. You don't know though at this point. You believe that he's not. I believe that he's not. But then you see Childs come back, and Childs is there. And he's like, I went chasing after him, and then like I saw all this shit happen, and they were like, well, I guess we just got to sit here now, and like that's when he like pulls out the bottle of whiskey, and they just start getting after it a little bit. And that was that was good bromance because again, Keith David, I'm as I was watching this again, I realized like Keith David is that fucking guy because just recently we played through fucking the Halo games. Me and Sanch, love you, Sanch. I know you're out there. Me and Sanch played through them, and he was the voice of the Arbiter. So it's like it's so fucking cool, really? Like how much Keith David has done, and like he was big. He played, he voiced someone else in the Mass Effect series as well. I think he was like one of the top generals in that fucking game. So like he's everywhere. And then where I know him from, like video game wise, was he voiced Julius from the first Saints Row and the second Saints Row. So like I remember the first time I saw him in the movie, I was like, why do I know this guy's voice? And lo and behold, it's because of fucking Saints Row.
Well, he was in Community too, and he was Nice Guys as well. So that's what I knew him from.
Yeah, no, he is. I love this fucking guy. Like, and
I was gonna say we just saw him in No. That makes sense.
Yeah, no. Like, if I could go back and do my actors draft, I'd throw that motherfucker in there. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, he's got some good ass movies. I mean,
I didn't even recognize him because they look so fucking young. Like Kurt Russell kind of looks the same, but him, like, obviously you've always seen him like salt and peppered kind of now, like older. And then like you just hear the voice and you're like, holy shit, it's Keith David. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean, because they could both be the Thing, sitting there drinking, waiting for someone to rescue them. So then, you know what I mean? Easily that could have been it too.
And it would have been cool if they just would have torched each other. Like if they would have just torched each other and that's how the movie ended, like that would have been so cool. Because it almost seems like that's
how
test
your bloods again.
Yeah, and it almost seems like that's what they were implying because it was like, I guess we could just sit here for a few, and then that's when he like pulls out the bottle.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to get into trivia? There's some good stuff on this
I was thinking about it. Like I don't know too much trivia.
John Carpenter has stated that out of all of his films, this one is his personal favorite.
Good for him.
Makes sense. Yep. It has become tradition in British Antarctica research stations to watch The Thing from 1982 as a part of their midwinter feast and celebration held every June 21st.
I did know that one. That was a fun fact that Jack pulled out of his ass at one point. Jack told me that when we were watching it.
Really?
Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier, Brian. At around the 8-minute mark, the words spoken by the pilot entering the camp are actually understandable for Norwegians. So if you speak it, you understand it. What they said was, "Get the hell out of here. That's not a dog. It's some sort of thing. It's imitating a dog. It isn't real. Get out. Get away, you idiots." That's what it was in English. So that's kind of cool. I mean, if you speak Norwegian, you'd be like, whoa, spoilers, right off the bat. So, yeah, that's kind of funny.
That's how different languages work.
Yeah. At around the 1 hour, 24-minute mark, Kurt Russell was almost injured in the scene where he blows up the alien Palmer with a stick of dynamite. Apparently, he had no idea how big the explosion would have been. And the reaction that was in the movie was genuine. Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, who? John Carpenter.
Like, fuck it, let's blow up this helicopter. They're like, dude, this helicopter costs like $100,000 or $300,000.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Okay.
To give the illusion of the icy conditions, interior sets on Los Angeles sound stages were refrigerated down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, while it was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside.
That's another thing
Um,
too. I love when they're like running through the snow or like going downstairs and they're actually sliding around and shit.
Mhm.
Like I was
yeah,
like, all right, maybe they actually did film this somewhere, but it makes sense that I mean it's real ice or whatever the fuck they were using.
yeah. The film is considered a benchmark in special makeup effects. The effects were created by Rob Bottin, who was only 22 when he started the project.
That's very
22.
Good
cool.
for him.
My
Yeah.
uncle or my cousin does like prosthetics and like same shit like this. Like he could easily go work in the movies, but
Hmm.
I mean he does like Airbus and stuff like that. So and he'll like do mass everything by hand, and it reminds me so much of all these movies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Yeah. You guys want to get into scores?
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, really quickly, I do want to say one thing. Did you notice like there's that
Sure.
iconic sound like from like Halloween almost like the like there's at
Yeah.
one point I heard that and I was like, God, I love this, and then I had an itch to
Yeah, because
rewatch
Halloween was
Halloween.
before this.
Yeah.
Right? Like 78.
Uh-huh.
So
So it
that's
was
cool.
cool to hear that sound again. I was like, all right, all right.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've seen the original Halloween so many times. I've never seen this, and
Mhm.
I'm glad I did. I mean,
But
I can go first.
I can start off. I
Oh,
mean,
do you
it's
want
my
to start?
pick.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get too much into detail, but it was on my list for forever. I'm glad I watched it. Definitely is I feel like a pillar in horror movies in general. John Carpenter. I mean, I've seen a decent amount of his movies, but this is one, obviously, and he even claims it as his favorite that I
Hmm.
haven't seen. And I mean, I would definitely rewatch this. And I heard that they're making a third one, like a newer
Mhm.
remake, I guess you could say. And I mean, with today's like technology and stuff like that, I think it'll be good. I mean, I don't know. I won't have big expectations for it, but if it lands, it lands. So I mean, we'll definitely go watch that. So
I
I'm
mean, I'm
excited
definitely
for
gonna
that.
watch it. I'm not gonna get my hopes up by any means because
Yeah,
this movie's so
no, I mean,
fucking good.
yeah, 100%. But I mean, great cast, great story, even without like the horror aspect to it. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think and I hate scary movies, man, but like, I love a good movie. So I feel confident giving this a 93. I'll give it
There
a
you go.
93 out of
There
100.
you
It's
fucking
solid.
go.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can go next. I definitely think this movie has the rewatchability. Like Aiden said, I think at the beginning, it's so interesting watching it for the first time because you don't know, who's the thing, right? And so being able to watch it from the perspective of I know that guy's the thing is pretty interesting. So I'm definitely excited to watch it again. And again, I'm pissed off at myself that I waited this long because it's a horror sci-fi, which is a really fun genre for sure. So um, definitely has some rewatchability, and then I like the camera shots and everything. So I'm gonna go with an 88. I really liked it a lot. I can see myself rewatching it and then grading it even higher for sure. But just
Mhm.
from the one watch, I gotta go with an 88. And I'm not a huge horror guy either. So I think that grade for me is pretty high for a horror movie I've never seen in the 80s. So definitely worth the watch and holds up
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, boys, I'll finish this off here. Aiden, phenomenal pick. I'm glad that this got brought up. I
Thank you,
wasn't sure what
thank
I
you.
was going to pick for my Halloween movie. I think I have an idea of what I want us to do for my pick. But again, shout out Jack Kelly for ingraining in my brain how great of a fucking movie this is. Like, there's some movies that he recommends, and I'm like, all right, I can get behind it. But this one, I was like, holy fucking shit! Like, you're on to something. Like, this movie is gas. And with that being said, this movie, the pacing on it is it's only an hour 40 long, and like 30 minutes is the intro. And then from there, you're fucking in it. Once they go and visit the Norwegians and they know something's up, and when the doctor runs that probability on his computer, you're in it. That's fucking it. And from there, you're just trying to figure out who's who, how does this thing work, and it just keeps getting fucking better and better as you go, and it leaves you on this cliffhanger, and you don't know, is one of them the thing? Is one of them not the thing? Did they fucking get rid of it? Nobody knows. Uh,
Yeah.
but I love that idea. For it being a movie made in '82, it looks fucking phenomenal. Like, you can't even be upset with it. And again, just with it being that old, it holds up. And that's really like the main thing about this movie, is that it will hold up. And like I said, prior to this, I was going to rewatch it, because now this is making my cycle, because I like to watch scary movies around October. As soon as it got fall and crispy out, I was like, damn, I should rewatch The Thing pretty soon. And thankfully Aiden brought it up, and I was like, nice, now I get to actually talk about it too, and I don't just have to text Jack, be like, hey, miss you, bro, rewatch The Thing, it's still great. Like, no, now I get to actually talk about it, which I did text him. I was like, dude, just watch The Thing again. He goes, how was it? And I was like, held up. It fucking held up. But yeah, overall, great fucking movie. If you've never seen it before, do yourself a favor. Me and Josh both rented it on Amazon. It's only like $4. If you don't have $4, ask someone to take back their cans, maybe cut someone's grass. You got this. But yeah, I feel comfortable giving this movie a 95. Like, I fucking love it. And since I technically still have it for another night, I was thinking about rewatching it tonight. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it holds up too. And I definitely want to rewatch it too down the road. Probably next year, next winter. I think I'll watch it.
Another thing I absolutely love,
memory.
like that you mentioned too, Pop, is like it just gets better and better and better, and that's like that it's good, because we've seen so many movies where it starts off slow, the middle is like great, and then it dies off at the end, or the beginning's great, middle's great, sucks at the end. And I think that this movie's good from like start to finish. I don't think it's too slow at the beginning either. Like, I didn't think I lost interest.
Again, you jump in with the dog, and like from there you're like, what the hell's going on?
Why the fuck they shooting the dog? And that's what brings you in. So yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, well, that was our The Thing review from 1982. On Friday, I believe we're gonna go see The Creator, that new movie, with John David Washington. So it looks good. I'm excited to see it.
It's gonna be really good.
Yeah. So. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Bye. Good night, guys. Love you all.
Peace out.